Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. I'm your host, Bob Pell. And you know, there's so much nasty stuff going on in the world today that I like to surround myself with good, decent, God-fearing, red-blooded Americans. And one of those people is my friend Denny Chief Mayo. And after you listen to this interview with Pete Santilli, this is something you don't want to miss. We're going to be back with Chief, and we're going to talk about the $100,000 that he's helped raise for charities in northern Michigan.
Places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep this frequency clear. And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Okay, in this episode of The Truth is Viral, I'll be speaking with radio talk show host Pete Santilli. And we're going to start off the hour talking about the race baiting that's coming from Obama and Eric Holder and Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, whatnot, over the George Zimmerman trial. And, you know, what they're trying to do is they're attacking our republic on another front, trying to divide and conquer us through this race issue. We cannot allow that to stand. And you'll see my reaction as I learned for the very first time about my new gig at the Guerrilla Media Network. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, Pete kind of sprung that on me, and I couldn't be happier. It's absolutely the answer to a prayer. And after that, we're going to talk about the ever-evolving plans about our little gathering in Washington, D.C. the first week of September, second week of September, first and second week of September. There are a lot of groups going, and some are planning on being there the very 1st of September, and some as late as September 17th. So it's going to be an interesting month in Washington, D.C. There's also that Million Muslim March on 9/11. So that could be something that's going to be very interesting to watch. Now, there are a bunch of different groups that are planning to go to Washington, D.C. The Truth is Viral does not support them all. As time goes on, I will pick and choose those that I will support, but I can tell you right now that any group that has anything to do with carrying arms towards Washington, D.C., even if their intention is to stay on the Virginia side, you know, this so-called second wave of patriots, that's a group you want to avoid, okay, because they're just nothing but trouble. If you're a law enforcement officer and you decide to join us, well, you're more than welcome to do so, but please follow the laws of Washington, D.C. If you carry, because we're not the bad guys here. We're not out to break any laws. I'm not an anarchist. I don't want to destroy the Constitution. I don't want to change our country, except for the better. This type of government was given to us as a gift by our forefathers. But it was designed to be run by moral men. Without moral men at the helm of the ship of state, we're going to sink. So that is all I'm trying to do. I believe in law and order. I just believe that the laws that apply to the citizens should also apply to those that seek to govern us. So without further ado, let's get right to this interview with Pete Santilli. This is one show you do not want to miss. Good stuff.
So he's notorious
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral Live.
Fantastic.
My name is Bob Powell. And in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to get a phone call from my friend Pete Santilli.
All right.
And we'll simulcast today's show. It's Monday, July 22nd. And Pete's having trouble. I can hear him right now.
Just wanting to see how we're doing here. We're okay. We're on the stream, right? We're okay.
I can hear you,
perfect.
Pete.
There we are.
Yes,
Okay, now,
like everyone's picking us up.
He's supposed to call me in 1
reset.
minute. I don't know if he's going to make it or not.
Where's my applause button?
There's your applause button, Pete.
I do?
Yes.
He's running just
I
a
didn't
couple of
deconnect
minutes late.
score.
He's
No,
having
she just
technical
dropped
difficulties. I guess
for
the
no
powers
reason.
that be don't want us to broadcast
Probably
this.
Because of that little. Okay. How about this?
Okay, we do have a chat box over there on the right-hand
very
side.
much. I
So
appreciate
if you have any questions for me,
Thank you very much.
please feel free. You can log in
And
with
in 30
your
seconds, we're gonna be going
live
on
stream
to
if you
the
got
Rents
one,
Network here.
Facebook or Twitter,
On
and
this
put a
Monday,
message
July
into the live
22nd.
stream
I have no idea where
chat
I'm
box
at.
right
There we
there,
go.
and I should see it. And I'll
you.
be happy to answer any questions
Thank
that you
you.
have.
Please be seated, please. The bunker, I say the bunker news break, the news break for the Rents Network. Welcome back, Rents Network. We have actually a gentleman who's been on the show a lot of times. We like him. We have liked him ever since we came into contact with him. He's a former United States Marine. I have no idea what that is. Is that you, Susanna?
No, it is not.
Okay.
No, that was probably me.
Oh, that's okay.
The wind's kicking up, and my wind chimes were getting pretty loud.
Oh,
so,
no, that's fine.
I got rid of them.
Bobby
There you
Powell is a
go.
former Marine or an ex-Marine. When he dies, of course, he will be a decomposing Marine, but still a Marine. After serving as an 81 millimeter mortar gunner deployed with the 3rd Marine Division in the Marine Corps, Bobby became a journalist and has worked as a city editor for Scripps Howard newspapers. He's an entertainment editor. He is a prominent, well-known investigative journalist who has a great YouTube channel. He's a publisher and editor-in-chief for The Truth is Viral, an alternative news program that has gained a reputation for in-depth interviews with everyone from the man on the street to CIA spies and officers serving with NATO. The Truth is Viral focuses on publishing the truth about those stories that are spun, lied about, or simply ignored by the mainstream media. And Bobby Powell here in the coming days, we just need to finalize some details and have some discussions. He's going to be joining the Guerrilla Media Network. And I didn't say that to you personally until that very moment. But Bobby Powell, we are going to be, we just need to just take care of some things. Like, for instance, I need to be able to say Zionist without you feeling uncomfortable about it.
Actually, I've taken care of that. I've got an episode up that I had with Carl Gallup's P.P. Simmons Ministry, and we take care of the whole question of what is a Zionist and what is Israel, because they are two completely separate things.
Oh, thank
If you haven't
goodness.
noticed, a lot of people that call themselves Zionists aren't even Jews.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I believe, I'm glad we start off this conversation like this because I'm serious. I needed to come out. We just had a big dispute with TalkStream Live, who, they're just, they're nothingness. But still, it was a big issue because we were approached from, I guess, a racially biased perspective, being told that we couldn't talk about things like Zionism and things of the such. But my definition of Zionism could be Jewish or Christian, right? I call it the military-industrial Zionism that defends a state of Israel, not the people who are Jewish, not the Christians, right, who are willing to give up their families to go fight for Israel and throw their bodies at the matter. I don't like the whole military-industrial complex Zionism. That's what I refer to it as.
See, now here, Pete, you and I are on the same page.
Good.
Absolutely, because the military-industrial Zionism that you're talking about are the ones that are bringing about the end times. It's all part of, Barack Obama's in on it too.
Yeah.
Barack Obama, Muslim that he is a Zionist.
It's a Zionist, yeah.
Because what he's doing is he's surrounding Israel with all these Muslim Brotherhood regimes. Started in Tunisia, then it went to Egypt, and then Libya, and now he's trying to do the same thing in Syria. And what it is this Muslim Brotherhood Zionist industrial complex. It's a tangled web. But all these people are working towards the same goal, and it's going to end up where Israel is going to be attacked by all of these nations that are newly Islamized by the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's going to fulfill the prophecies in Ezekiel 38 and 39.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, And I know you to be a devout Christian, and I just needed to make sure that I pre-qualified myself because, not saying that, even if we had differing views, if we could have a discussion about it and do so that you could be on the Guerrilla Media Network and we could coexist per se, and still have the debate about what's good and bad about this Middle Eastern conflict, if we could do that without attacking each other and really trying to destroy each other's shows, then we could have you come on the Guerrilla Media Network. But I tell you what, I could easily be misconstrued as an anti-Semite, as I've been called, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not an anti-Semite.
I know that you're not, and I'll defend you on that.
Yeah, no, I'm not an anti-Semite in no way, shape, or form. I mean, I find that people are trying to pigeonhole me because when I say Zionist and say Jew in the same statement, I grew up as an Italian in upstate New York. There were Jews and Italians, and basically everyone that worked for them in upstate New York, right?
Now, in every organization, you're going to find individuals that have their own particular beliefs. Like you'll find neo-Nazi skinheads in the Marine Corps, but as a whole, racism has no place in the Marine Corps. I remember very well. Mm-hmm. My Marine Corps, it was almost out of Full Metal Jacket. Said, there are no niggers, kikes, or spicks here. You are dark green Marines or you are light green Marines. Yeah. Either way, you're a shade of Marine.
That's right. There's only one color, camouflage.
Exactly. And, we depend on people of other colors, people of other faiths to protect our lives. Yeah. So, you can't be a racist in an organization like the Marine Corps. It's just, how can you be a racist and call a fellow Marine your brother?
Yeah, no,
you can't.
No, certainly not. So, but now outside of the Marine Corps, you and I are having to deal with and contend with, and I'm glad I have this opportunity to talk to you about this coming off of the Trayvon Martin thing. What have you been talking about as to our state of affairs with respect to racism here in America?
Well, to be honest, Pete, I haven't really said anything about it. When Trayvon Martin was first killed, I did do a show on that. Mm-hmm. But here lately, I haven't said anything about it because it takes me about 2 weeks to upload a show. I'm hoping that, if I get on the Guerrilla Media Network, they'll have one every day and I won't have to do all this editing. That's what takes up most of my time. But I do have an opinion on this. And that is that I was listening to the show you had on yesterday about Shabazz. And my opinion pretty much mirrors yours. Obama, Holder, Sharpton, and Jackson, and Shabazz, they're all in bed together trying to gin up a race war in this country. They couldn't get the conviction on Zimmerman in court. So now they're going to reopen the investigation, the federal investigation, as to whether it's a hate crime. I thought they already made a determination that there was no racism involved. I thought that Zimmerman's or Martin's parents said that there was no racism involved. I thought that the judge and the prosecutor said that there was no racism involved. So why now is it all about race? I see responsible black people like Dr. Benjamin. Can't remember his name right now. Mm-hmm. But in Alan West and others coming out on mainstream media, and they're doing a damn good job at defending this verdict and the fact that was no racism involved in this trial whatsoever. But they're really not being heard. Matter of fact, Sean Hannity, he had a whole bunch of black conservatives on his show last week, men and women. Stacey on the right is a lady by the name of Stacey Washington that I follow, and I love her opinion. You want to know why? I'm sorry to interrupt you. You want to know why? Because of leadership from people like this guy right here. I'm going to play.
The Deltas are deeply and rightly concerned about this case. The Justice Department shares your concern. I share your concern. And as we first acknowledged last spring, we have opened an investigation into this matter. Independent of the legal determination that will be made, I believe that this tragedy provides yet another opportunity for our nation to speak honestly.
You never want
that piece of garbage.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. Okay. So he sees this whole thing as an opportunity. Okay. These are opportunists. And he specifically, in his own words, right past his lips here within the past 24, 48 hours, has said that this is an opportunity, independent of any legal determination, for him to bring legal stuff forward through the Department of Justice.
Yeah, well, it's an opportunity to start a race war, is what it is. I can't tell you how racist the Justice Department is under Eric Holder. 7 months ago, I got into a Twitter war with this rapper by the name of The Game. And as a result, I got hundreds of death threats from black people. Okay? There's just no other way to put it. One of them threatened to gang rape my wife to death.
Nice.
Another
thank
has
you.
threatened to burn my children to death while they sleep in their beds. My sheriff investigated these threats, found them to be credible, and forwarded the results of his investigation to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I have yet to receive a single phone call from the FBI asking me anything about this. It's because I'm white.
Yeah.
Is exactly why I'm not getting any justice. But if I were to go out screaming, no justice, no peace, what do you think would happen to me, Pete?
Oh, you're a racist.
Oh, yeah, I'm a racist.
Yeah. Of course.
But, you know, black people that say these kinds of things, they get a pass.
Listen, we're gonna take a quick break here.
They've been downtrodden for 400 years.
Yes, sir.
Give me a break.
We're going to take a break here with the Rents Network, and then when we come back, let's talk about the hot and important topics that you're talking about on your show, and we will be back here momentarily within the next couple minutes. So stay right there, folks. I'm with Mr. Bobby Powell, Robert Powell. He's an investigative journalist. He's going to be joining the Guerrilla Media Network here in the coming days, as soon as we work out the details. So you stay right there. We'll be right back. Okay, Bobby Powell is actually. I need to share something with you, and he may share more with you. But he's in the state of Michigan. How far away from Detroit?
I'm about 5 hours from Detroit.
About 5 hours from Detroit, but still, Michigan's still struggling with some issues out there. I believe there's a lot of really, really good people out there in the state of Michigan. We're hearing a lot about Detroit. I'm sure you are as well, right? Throughout the state, it's a big thing, is it not?
Oh, sure it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I actually went to college in Detroit. Shout out to my old alma mater, Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts, down there on 8 Mile.
Oh, cool.
I worked as a private investigator in Detroit, and I know Detroit very well. And back in the mid-'80s, it was a decent place to live. I was running all over town. I had my day job as a private investigator and a DJing at night.
Really?
So, yeah. So I was involved in the music scene and the police officer scene. And, you know, those were heady days. They really were. It was really some of the best times I've ever had in my life.
It's sad to see Detroit take a nosedive like it is right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And now you can't go down there safely. If you enter the city, you had better be armed, because there are roving gangs. One of their favorite tricks to get unsuspecting motorists to be able to pull over is just bump the back of your car, and then that'll hit the fuel shutoff switch in your ignition, and your car shuts off, and they get out and they rob you. So, but you know, even back in the day, this just popped into my head. Kids were killing each other. The things that they were killing each other back then was they had these winter coats with the fur linings, and they would literally kill one another in order to steal those fur coats from one another. And then the next year, I think it was the new Air Jordans that had just first come out. So there's a disease in Detroit, and the disease is caused by liberal Democrats. Basically, is what it is. That's why Detroit is bankrupt now, because they owe so much to the unions.
You know, hey, Bobby, you've been. When was the last time you went to the Big D?
Was it last time I was in Detroit was last August.
Last August. Do you remember? No, I described it because we have friends in Detroit, in just outside of Detroit. But I was there visiting friends and actually noticed that the Government Motors building is the only decent building in the city of Detroit. Pristine, perfectly, well manicured, and then all the other buildings around it with the broken windows just really, really struck me.
Yeah, it's weird. I remember one night, one of my security guards couldn't patrol his round, and what it was this. It was an old manufacturing building. I think they used to make pop bottles and stuff like that. And why they wanted armed security at this building, I will never know, because half of the roof was caved in. There were standing pools of water all over the place. To this day, I can't imagine why they could possibly want armed security. But now the whole city of Detroit is pretty much like that. If you want to have a laugh, Google homes for sale in the city of Detroit, and you'll see homes for as little as $15,000, 3-bedroom, 1-bath homes that look pretty decent on the outside. But the thing is, on the inside, they're completely gutted, and there's tax liens on them in the amounts of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So nobody is going to buy these properties. Matter of fact, I think it was just last year, Detroit was selling them for $1 just to get rid of them. For people, they say, if you will come in and bulldoze this house, then we will sell you the lot for $1. That's how bad it is. Oh yeah, down in Detroit, just a nightmare.
So listen, tell us what's hot on your agenda. What news items are you talking about that are most concerning to you these days?
Well, we've got this march on Washington D.C. coming up on September 9th.
Yes, sir.
Now, we had originally planned this march with Chief Mark Kessler of the Gilbertson, Pennsylvania Police Department. Mm-hmm. But last Monday, Chief Kessler pulled out. He said that he wasn't going to participate in this march.
For good reason, by the way. It wasn't just a pullout. I think he was somewhat driven out by the wingnuts.
Yeah, well, I was talking to him about that, mm-hmm. and I said, if somebody else has an agenda that doesn't suit yours, you don't have to, be with them. Mm-hmm. Okay, let them make their plans. Whatever they want to do, let them do what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. Let's just do what we want to do. Okay, and then the next thing I heard, which was I didn't hear it until a couple hours after I released that video of my interview with the chief, because that Monday of his show, I was at the hospital with Dylan. She was getting chemo, and I was busy editing the video for the next couple of days. So I didn't hear the news about Chief pulling out until after I had already released the video saying, okay, well, here we go. Okay, so now what are we going to do? Okay, the thing that made this march so attractive to everybody, and it went viral, this video.
Well, tell us what the march, what you wanted to do, what you want to accomplish on September 9th, originally.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, originally, we had planned with Chief Kessler to take a group of law enforcement officers, not necessarily armed. Okay, this wasn't going to be an armed march like Adam Kokesh's. Nobody was going to be carrying any long guns, no shotguns, anything like that. Any police officers that were armed were going to be in uniform with just a sidearm as part of their everyday attire. Okay, so, and that's perfectly legal in D.C., so there was no problem with that. And people were getting so ramped up because they were just like me. They want to see the people that we entrust with our safety to actually stand up and say that we aren't going to enforce any more unconstitutional laws.
Yeah, just to go there and say that is powerful. Sure.
And so that's what made it so attractive. And so, I'm thinking, and it was picked up by the Western Center for Journalism. And my brothers at Uncle Sam's Misguided Children picked it up. They wrote a nice little piece on it. And so, after the chief bailed out, I'm like, what in the heck am I supposed to do now? So I went to the source that I always go to when I'm in real trouble. And that's my Father in heaven. I said, Father, what am I supposed to do? Everybody wanted to see a bunch of cops going to this thing. And now with Chief Kessler gone, it's not going to happen. And I didn't hear a booming voice out of the sky. Okay, there was no burning bush or anything like that. But I got this quiet little impression in my mind that said, "Remember Arlo." And I did.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a break. Hold that thought right there. Let's hear about what the outcome was of that message sent to you right after this message. Don't go away, folks.
Remember Arlo. Yeah, buddy. That's the new plan. And in just a second, I'm going to tell you all about it. But I need to remind you of something. As you listen to this plan unfold, I need you to remember that the only way it's going to happen is with your support. We need you to share this video on Facebook, on Twitter, in every forum that you go to vent, wherever you go, because this is going to be something. And we're also going to need your prayers, for our success and for our safety. And we need your money, not to put too fine a point on it. I've budgeted this out, and it's going to cost me $2,200 to get to Washington, D.C. and back. So if you have the ability, please go to bobpowell.blogspot.com and leave me some money, because I can't do this on Social Security disability. $2,200, more than 2 months of my income. I'm willing to put my body out there on the line, but I need your money in order to get me to the battlefield.
What's up with Donald Trump?
Well, what's up with Donald Trump? Who really cares about what's up with Donald Trump? I care about what's up with Bobby Powell. We need to...
What's up with Donald Trump's hair?
Yeah. What's up with Bobby Powell's hair?
Okay, I have none. It kind of migrated all the way down my back, and it's now residing safely on my ass.
That's a short conversation. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so Arlo Guthrie's hair. What's up with him?
Arlo Guthrie's got a lot of hair. And Arlo Guthrie is actually who I was talking about before we went to break. One of the first interviews that I ever conducted as the entertainment editor of the Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie Tribune down in Florida was with Arlo Guthrie. He was down there doing a Save the Manatees benefit, right? And back during the Vietnam War, artists like Arlo Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Janis Joplin, Creedence Clearwater Revival, they all, galvanized the hopes of an entire generation. Those hopes, which, by the way, have been betrayed by other children of the 60s, like the Clintons and Obama and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But, they did have hopes. They wanted peace. Give peace a chance, right?
Sure.
But, music was a powerful tool. It was a powerful motivator. Woodstock was one of the seminal events of that generation. And the people stood up and they got together and they went out in the streets and they didn't conduct armed marches. They just got fed up to the point where they put their bodies on the line. Okay. And they used their voices to send a message to Congress and to the president.
Sure
and as a result, what happened? Johnson stepped down. He didn't want to run for another term as president. He said, "To hell with this. I've had enough." So I asked Arlo, what was it like to be one of the leaders of the anti-war movement during Vietnam? And you know what he said to me, brother?
What's that?
I'll never forget this as long as I live. He said, "I thought it was cool to be part of a movement that didn't need any leaders."
Huh.
Everybody had finally gotten fed up with the racism, unnecessary wars, and Gestapo-style police tactics. And we just stood up and we told them so.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. There were black people, white people, brown people, red people, men and women from all over the country that came together for a common cause, and we stopped a war.
They sure did.
Now,
yeah.
I remembered that interview after my little prayer with God, and that gave me the answer that I was seeking, because we don't need any leaders for this. Matter of fact, leaders serve as nothing but lightning rods for the police to attack and target. And if you've got a group, it's going to be infiltrated by either trolls or disinformation artists. There's just no getting around that. It is going to be infiltrated.
Yeah.
So here's what I suggest. This needs to be a grassroots uprising. Peaceful. Nobody bring any weapons of any kind. Just signs. So let's say whatever you want. 17 million people got up off their asses in Egypt. And they went down to Tahrir Square.
If not more, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they said, we're not putting up with this. We have had enough. We don't want the Muslim Brotherhood controlling our lives. And so what happened? The army saw, they know what side of the toast their butter's on. So the army, stood up for the people. And as a result, Mohammed Morsi is no more, at least for the moment. That whole thing is still up in the air. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another change in leadership at some point in the very near future. But that's my point. If we can get 1 million to 10 million, 20 million people in Washington, D.C., if people can finally get fed up enough of being spied on, of having their kids go out and set up a lemonade stand and get shut down by Gestapo police, or having their kids arrested for biting a Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun, or being grilled by a police officer for so long that a little 8-year-old boy pees his pants. What kind of a world, what kind of a country are we living in where people think that kind of behavior is okay? It's not okay.
Yeah.
And the people of this country need to stand up and say something about it. Now, if I can get up out of that damn wheelchair, if I can go through 8 surgeries and the accompanying physical therapy that goes with it, if I can regain my brain from the point where I don't remember if you know the entire backstory, but Pete, there was a time when I couldn't even speak. I couldn't read and I couldn't write because of the accident that I had been in.
Wow.
If I can regain my abilities and get back to this point in my life, then damn it, everybody else can get up off their freaking couch and go do the same thing. Turn the TV off.
Yeah. Yes,
get up off your ass and go do something.
Every man, woman, and teenager, or or college student is concerned about what's happening with our country, and they think that somebody else is going to do something for them. And nothing will happen until each individual just steps up and says, nothing's going to happen unless I rise up. That's literally what's going to happen. They take each and every day. The elite looks at us when we take one day of peace, okay? Peace meaning staying at home and doing nothing. They just see that as one more day that they can take more from us, don't they?
Yeah, they think.
Yeah.
But they've miscalculated a little bit, because 29% of the people in this country believe that a violent revolution is waiting in the wings, that it's what's necessary to restore our freedoms. 29%. That's almost 1/3 of the people in this country that are so angry they're willing to shoot somebody.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to happen that way. You go from one extreme, complacency, where we're at right now, and lethargy, we'll call it. And Americans want either lethargy or all-out violent revolution. And guess what the happy medium is? The happy medium is to put, just like you said, 15 million people on the streets standing there saying, stop. We don't want you stealing our money anymore. We don't want you destroying our cities. But we have countries that are so deep in debt. We could never, ever survive the debt that they are putting us under. And they're reaping the rewards from it. They're actually making money as a result of the debt the countries now are going under. They're earning a living doing that. How could that be? How could that be allowed? For the people to rise up and say enough is enough doesn't require guns, does it?
No, absolutely not.
It does not require guns.
It just requires a willingness to stand up and say something.
Yeah. Yeah, but
obviously the people in Washington, D.C. aren't listening to our phone calls. They're not reading our emails. If they were, Carl Levin would know. Carl Levin was one of the chief architects of the National Defense Authorization Act. And if he was paying attention to his constituents, he would know that they did not want that signed into law, because every single Michigan representative, every single Michigan senator has voted to nullify the National Defense Authorization Act's indefinite detention provision. But Carl Levin is still supporting it. Who do you think's paying his bills?
Yeah.
It's not the people of the state of Michigan. He's not doing their will. I can guarantee you that.
The military
and when I go to
complex.
Washington, D.C., I am going to go into Carl Levin's office, and I'm going to ask him that question. Yeah. I'm going to ask him, how can you still support the National Defense Authorization Act when every single legislator in the state of Michigan has voted to nullify it?
Stay right there. We'll come back. We're going to continue this conversation. We're also going to announce that the Obama family is now going on a much needed vacation again. As soon as we come back from this break, don't go away.
And when I go to Washington, D.C., I intend on speaking truth to power from the offices of my elected representatives to the front of the White House. That's right. I'm going to take my sound system. I'm going to let Barack Obama know exactly what I think of him. Now, to do this, I need your help. Like I said, it's going to cost me $2,200 to get back and forth to Washington, D.C. with my sound system and get back safely. So if you have the ability, please go to bobpowell.blogspot.com and leave me whatever donation that you can. There's a PayPal button. You can make a one-time donation, or you can subscribe and support our efforts to save lives on a monthly basis. And you can also, just copy down the address and mail a check or money order to Bob Powell at Post Office Box 91, Alpena, Michigan 49707. Thank you for your support. And remember, the most important thing that you can do is share this video everywhere you can and keep a prayer on your lips for our safety and our success.
Okay, we're back with Bobby Powell. And Bobby, continue on with the story that the topic of conversation that we had, and then of course we'll get to the announcement that the Obama family needs yet another vacation. Of course, after all, it's been almost a month since they returned from their $100 million taxpayer-funded African safari. Okay, but go ahead. So Carl Levin, you're going to be meeting, who is supporting the military-industrial complex written NDAA. Go ahead.
Yeah. Pete, first thing I need to do is apologize to my listeners. I took the Lord's name in vain, and I didn't mean to do that. I apologize to God already, but I need to apologize to my listeners too. I try not to do that, but sometimes the inner jarhead just lets loose, and I get so mad. I'll try not to be so mad when I go see Carl Levin, though. But he's got some questions to answer.
Is he going to grant you a meeting?
We'll see. I'm a constituent. I don't see how he can refuse me. And that's one thing that I would like everybody else to do, too, because I'm going to be putting together a packet of information. One of those packets of one part of that packet of information has to do with the fact that Barack Obama never has been eligible to be president of the United States. He's a foreign-born person.
Why does nobody care? Why does nobody care about that? Why does no one care about that?
I don't know. But the fact that the birth certificate that the White House offered has been proven to be a fraud, and it was proven to be a fraud by his own expert. He's got this legal team that he's got handling all of his issues, and he's used this guy before on other things. Okay, so this was Barack Obama's boy on another issue. But now this same expert has taken a look at this birth certificate and he's pronounced it fraudulent. And that has given the whole birth certificate thing new legitimacy. Okay, so that's going to be one part of the packet of information that I'm going to give to people. Another part that I'm going to be giving them is a DVD copy of this video right here. It's the video that you first saw and had me on your show, the new Declaration of Independence, Impeach Obama Now. Yeah. Because in that video, I categorized pretty much, at least up until the AP scandal, every crime that Barack Obama has committed against the people of the United States, up to and including extrajudicial murder of Anwar al-Awlaki and his 16-year-old son, Abdul Rahman, and Samir Khan. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are accused of. If you are an American citizen, the Fifth Amendment guarantees you the right to a trial before anybody can take your life.
Yes.
Anwar al-Awlaki was never charged with any crime whatsoever. his 16-year-old son was killed in a separate drone strike 2 weeks after al-Awlaki was killed. There was no reason for him to murder that little boy. He wasn't with any other jihadis. He was with a bunch of other teenagers. He had gone out to look for his daddy. Now, granted, his daddy is a frickin' scumbag, or was a frickin' scumbag, but that's beside the point.
Well, that doesn't matter. That should not be, the criteria for whether or not we kill someone, right?
No. And Barack Obama, I don't care what powers he claims. It's antithetical to the entire existence of the United States. We fought a revolution to get away from one king that thought that he had the power of life and death over his subjects. So that's the point where we're at now. We've got another king, a tyrant, a Caesar, that has granted himself the power to murder his subjects. There was no congressional oversight. There is no judicial review. Just Barack Obama and Eric Holder in a back room somewhere deciding that this person should not be allowed to live.
Can I ask you something?
Said that whenever all the powers of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches are in the powers of one man, that is the very definition of tyranny.
What does the and if you don't mind me speaking out almost vocally violently opposed, okay, not physically, but I cannot believe the things that the FBI is allowed to get away with. What is their role in investigating these matters? Did you hear about the woman? And I'm going to pop around a little bit about the FBI, but you hear about the woman that called the FBI and asked them to investigate the Barack Obama birth certificate, and they said call the media.
Yeah,
they referred her to the media. Did you know about the anomalies that exist with the FBI being implicated as milling around at the Boston Marathon bombing? Did you know about that?
Well, I've seen the pictures of all the contractors that were around with the same type of backpacks that the Sarnaev brothers were supposed to have planted.
All right, listen. This is what I need to tell you. We're gonna
that they said about it.
We're gonna embed this. All right, Bobby. I know you're an investigative journalist, and you will, without me telling you what you're going to see, I'm going to embed this video in today's episode as well. There's a video out there that says FBI caught red-handed in the Boston Marathon hoax. Okay, I want you to look at that video, and I want you to tell me if you don't see people milling around in the crowd as the explosion's taking place. Right? Weird anomalies taking place. Next thing you know, the same people. There's one guy, unmistakably. All of a sudden, later on, they took a picture of him with an FBI jacket on. The FBI, okay, has, from what I've observed, has photoshopped images of the Tsarnaev brother. I need to get this information to the Tsarnaev attorney, okay, that I have a photo that was used to identify one of the Tsarnaev brothers, right? Because as he was after the explosion, he was pictured coming away from the scene, and they photoshopped a backpack off of his back in the Photoshop image. And guess who was out in front of him? Guess who was out in front of him? You could see that his brother, who had basically the same shoes, same pants, same everything, with a black backpack, just so happened to be the same thing that his brother was wearing, was right in front of him in that same photo behind the emergency call box. So there are images that the FBI has, I guess, been using to identify these guys. They're the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and they're using photoshopped images. Now, what do we do with a CIA and an FBI that are running around recklessly destroying our country? What do we do about that, Bobby Powell?
Well, first off, you've got to understand that there's a war going on within the federal government itself between the good guys.
An undeclared war. Go ahead.
Guys.
Sure, undeclared war.
It's an undeclared war.
And they're using our money to perpetrate it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that the FBI is all bad. I'm not even going to say that the CIA is all bad, even though another foreign spook, a guy that I have known for almost 10 years now, told me that as a result of the NATO leak that I published in reference to the Libya story that I did last year, he said that probably got my daughter killed, that the CIA might have, killed her. Now, I talked with another CIA spy that I know, and he says that the CIA doesn't work that way. So on the one hand, I've got a spook from a foreign government telling me that my daughter might have been killed because of information that I published. And then on the other hand, there's this guy that works for the CIA, a guy that I trust, that says that the CIA wouldn't do that. They would have left me a note or something that says, shut your mouth, or you've got other kids to worry about. So I've got that running through my brain all the time. But still, I've got to believe, I have to believe that there are men in the Federal Bureau of Investigation, men in the CIA, and women too, that joined those organizations in the hopes of doing something good.
Well, but Bobby, do you mind?
They took their oath with the intention of fulfilling it.
If you don't mind me interrupting that thought, okay? Here's the thing, and I absolutely agree with you. They're just everywhere. In law enforcement, there are some good people. There are. They're not all bad people. Those are not the ones that we're talking about. The people who are doing their jobs, being a good person, okay, and doing what's expected of them, okay, those are not the people we're talking about. I'm more concerned about the people that covered up TWA Flight 800. I'm more concerned about the people that covered up the assassination of President Kennedy. I'm more concerned about the people at the FBI that covered up the Oklahoma City bombing. I'm concerned about the ones that have helped cover up the 9/11 conspiracy.
Okay, well, now you're talking about the higher-ups, people like Eric Holder, Robert Mueller, people like that. Those are the dirty people that need to be gotten rid of. The rank and file, I think, is doing their jobs the way they're supposed to.
Why don't the rank and file? Well, the rank and files aren't doing their jobs, Bobby, because they should be investigating those people too. Why are they not doing that? The good people that are internal at the CIA and the FBI, why are they not doing their job to find out about internal corruption within their organizations that are literally destroying our country? It's destroying our country.
I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know. Maybe they are, and we just don't know anything about it. But I've got a prima facie case proving that Barack Obama is a murderer. Mm-hmm. Why won't anybody do anything about that? There's nothing. There's no law. There's nothing in the Constitution, no amendments that say that the president can sign a piece of paper and order somebody's murder. That is illegal on its face.
Right.
The ACLU told me on this very program that Barack Obama has assumed the powers of judge, jury, and executioner. And that is as close as you're ever going to get a lawyer to call somebody a murderer before they've gone to trial as you're ever going to get. So, everybody knows that he's illegal from top to bottom. There's nothing about this man that is honest. Everything that he's ever told us is a lie.
And why do we have to resort to, why do we as a people have to resort to, okay, first of all, they take our money, okay, and they use that money for evil. But the only way that we can get them to stop doing what they're doing is to protest. Is that what we have to do, to go peacefully protest and get them to actually do their jobs and stop destroying our country? Isn't that sad?
Yeah, it is.
It is so sad.
The Constitution, the type of government that we were given was supposed to be run by moral men.
Yes.
As long as it is, it's a fine system of government.
Bobby, we're gonna have you back on. That concludes this segment. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm gonna welcome you to the Guerrilla Media Network. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be finding out more about where Bobby will be here in the coming days. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the Bunker News Break.
Okay, so as I said, I like to surround myself with good, decent, hard-working, God-fearing, red-blooded Americans, and Denny, Chief Mayo, is one of those people. And we're here at the Hog Rally. It's a Harley Owners Group rally, and it's a bit of a celebration because due to the charitable rides that Chief and his cohorts have been conducting over the last several years, they've raised just about $100,000 for charity, and I think that's pretty awesome. what kind of charity events do you normally ride for?
We, the main one, the main two that we do here is for the Humane Society in the spring and Toys for Kids in the evening. The Toys for Kids are in the fall. The Toys for Kids is coming up August 24th, right through the beautiful northeastern Michigan that we all love here, and that's why the Hug members are here, because we live in one of the most beautiful spots in this world.
Amen.
And that's why they're here, to enjoy this and to enjoy our company.
And it's a great company too.
It is, yes, it is.
Chief's son, Brian, probably one of the best friends I've ever had. Really good, decent Americans. And if you're ever in Alpena, Michigan, and you want the best burger in the world, you need to come here to Chief's. And my friend Brian will hook you up. Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral. Till next time we meet, may God bless you. Semper Fi.
Take care, brother.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.
Smack runner.